All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Plastic Posse. We are live, and it is all six hosts here at the Plastic Posse, plus a special guest, our friend Jackson Stanton. We're going to do a quick around the room to see how everybody's doing, and then we're going to open up to topics around what did we do in 2022, what did we love most, what do we hope to accomplish in 2023, and really just have a free-flowing discussion around the hobby in which we love, which is scale modeling. And also, if you feel so inclined, please drop a comment in the chat, ask a question at any time. We'll pop it up on the screen, and we'd love to interact with everybody. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to Scott to see how you're doing tonight, man.
Doing really well. Looking forward to a long holiday weekend of modeling, and it's always fun to spend a little bit of time at the bench. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do this weekend for New Year's. How about you, JB?
I am going to be taking it easy. I will be working on a model, hopefully finishing the whippet before the weekend's out, and just cleaning up a few things and getting ready for the new year. So, but enough about me. Grant, center of the screen on my end. How's it going out in Southern California?
Pretty good. Good. It's been really beautiful out here. So we had like an 80-degree Christmas. Well, the rest of you guys, I'm sorry about all the freezing weather. But we are getting rain the next couple of days. Plan on spending the long weekend working on some figures. Plus, I got a 3D copy of a 1/35th scale M1918 first U.S. tank. So I'm going to work on that a little bit too. So that's what I plan for the weekend.
Awesome. So definitely saying hi to Grizz, our friend Derek Post, and then also Steven as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to go across the pond where it's very early, and a very sickly Ivan has joined us. So we are grateful for your presence, and we hope you're feeling better. How are you tonight otherwise?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm in good company, so I'm fine. I can't be ill when around you guys.
Well, I know I'm always happy when I see you, so thank you so much for joining us. Let's go over to the DC metro area. TJ, how are you tonight?
Pretty good. I just got back from North Carolina yesterday evening, so that's good. And yeah, I got a long weekend as well. I was off today, so I spent the day playing video games. It was nice, and yeah, gonna get some modeling done maybe this evening and probably during the weekend.
Is the nut rocker on the table?
It is. You might be able to see it behind me. It's a big brown oval. And then in pieces next to it is the Das Work. It's a French gun of some kind. I don't remember the caliber. Jackson probably knows. 155 millimeter, I think.
You got it, yep.
So I started poking around with that last night when I got home. So I'll probably build on that a little bit while I'm waiting for paint to dry.
Very nice. Very nice. So we're going to go over to Utah, in the center of the screen for me. Some say he was the snake handler in the movie Anaconda, but we know him as Doug. How are you tonight, good sir?
I'm good, thanks. You know what? It's you guys talk about your long weekends. Well, I had a long week and a half. I've been off since the 23rd of December, and I don't go back till the 3rd of January to work. So it's been a good week and a half, and got a little modeling done, a little bit of work done in the basement, and yes, handled the snakes.
Nice. And we're going to go back to the East Coast where it looks like a cozy evening in the residence of Jackson Stanton. How are you tonight, good sir? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing all right. Like Ivan, I'm woke up sick this morning with some cold or something, so it's not great. But like you said, being here makes me much more warm inside. Like Doug, I got off the 23rd, and I'll be off until the 3rd. So I've had plenty of time to be at the bench, which has been awesome. But the modeling gods, they need balance, and so they said no more modeling for you while you're off. You're going to be stuck in bed.
And well, certainly I love your modeling. We've seen the howitzer that TJ had mentioned already, but we can also see on your bench the M6.
I do, yep. I'm getting some work done on that. It's not too far off. I'm excited to get it done and get it in paint. So
nice, very nice. Damien, thanks for tuning in. Very nice to have you on board. So I think the first discussion topic of tonight, we're going to go around the room again, but we're going to focus on the best build from 2022. It was a great question posed on the Facebook group, got a lot of great interactions. We saw a lot of great work, but I'd love to start off by sharing my screen, and we're going to go around the room here and highlight some of our builds that we think were best And I would love to ask my co-hosts to take a moment to describe their build. Why do they consider it their best? And what do they love most about it, essentially, and tell that story. So up first is Doug with his Achilles.
Well, that's the Tamiya 148 scale kit. I always say I'm not an armor builder, but I built 7 tanks this year, which for me is a whole lot. But I had a lot of fun on this little kit, and what I think sets it apart for me is all the aftermarket stuff I did. Whether I did it, I don't even know. In some cases, if I did it well or if I did it right. Like, I mean, does it look realistic? I don't know. But for me, I did things that I've never even thought about before. I made the tarps with epoxy sculpt. I used the Value Gear aftermarket sets. Made little paper straps to hang stuff off the side of the turret. Used a lot of mud effects and stuff on it. I just had a good time. It was one that should have taken me about 10 hours and ended up being about 20 to 25 hours after I started just adding things to it. And one of the things that made it a lot of fun was I posted it to our Posse Facebook page and I'd ask people, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to take this to another level? And so I got all kinds of recommendations from people all over the world and spent days and days just trying to add to it and make it what it became. Is it perfect? Not even close. I plan on doing more armor this year, and I'd like to do better than this. But I'm super happy with this model and how it came out.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's awesome. What I love is the stowage on it. I think you did a great job. Like you said, the custom tarps and overall a really, 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 really great finish.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd echo that, Doug. I think this is your best armor piece to date, and look forward to see what else is coming down the pike from you.
Well, I love those Tamiya 48 scale kits. I'm just running low on them. I built most of what I had already, so I'll have to get some more.
Nice. So up next, we have Grant Mayberry with Thanos. So tell us a little bit about this, Grant.
This was one of my very first busts. The bust is actually pretty big. I think it's like 1/6 scale. And it was my first attempt at something larger than 28 millimeter or 1/35. I really like the tones of the colors of the Manos figure. So the really dark red lips, the purplish skin with the gold. Why this makes my best. I have never painted eyes before like this. So, and I think these came out really well. And then once I got the eye painted, I took a little bit of Vallejo wet, and put it over the eyes to give it that glossy look. So that helped a lot, and dabbed a little bit on the lips, as you can see, and gave it a little bit more personality. It was just so basic work with the metals were actually, I used the very, very old tester paints. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, the tester paints in the little bottles, they have a gold color back then. It's just a great color. So, but that was my best one. So, and it resides with one of my great friends right now who's on here. So I really feel that's the funnest part for me, is that he likes it so much, and so he can have it. So.
It does. He's safe and sound and warm at Scott's house. So, and I would agree with you, Grant. I think what sets this piece apart for me is just the eyes. The eyes are stunning and really, really lifelike for this bust. The purple tones, I think this photograph doesn't do it justice. The purple tones are really rich, and you mentioned the golds, but the eyes to me are what makes your piece special. It's really good.
Oh, appreciate that.
Yeah, I just echo Scott. When I saw this piece at Nats, I loved it. And I love the high base you put it on. I think the gold is fantastic. And the eyes, again, going back to them, I think they really stand out. And I keep looking to my left because I have it blown up on a bigger screen, but really, 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 really does a great job of capturing that look from the Marvel universe. So can't wait to see what you have next on the plate.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. The funny thing about the base is that if you notice the figure, he's looking down. So if I had to put him up high, so I found a leg from an old couch and flipped it over so it gives that concave shape, and the actual base fit it perfectly. So that's a couch leg it's sitting on top of. So it's anything to make it look better, I guess.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. So up next we have Desolate by the Sir Ivan Jens Taylor.
Yeah. A nice piece, very original piece, often imitated, never duplicated. I love it. It's to this day one of my all-time favorite builds I've ever done, not just this year. It was a lot of firsts. It was my first time really in anger using 2-part epoxy resin for water. It was my first scene that involved quite a bit of scratch building. My first Mac kit, my first time doing something so vibrant, and it's also my first time doing something so weathered. I just love it. Every time I look at that image specifically, I'm amazed that I produced it. I just love it. The weathering on it is for me is perfect, which I never think my work is like really good. This one is. The mood, the story it tells, everything about it is right. Which again is rare for me. Being my first Mac kit, obviously I wanted to do something a bit different. So I was like, well, the whole Mac aesthetic is really cool. Don't get me wrong, I really like it, but I was like, well, how can I make it look a bit more different? So I went with this, we'll just call it like industrial equipment look rather than what I intended to have it modeled off, which was a construction Protectron from the Fallout universe, which it if you see it in the game, you can see what it's supposed to look like. But yeah, it's just one of those builds that I look at and I'm like, yeah, that's one of those builds where kind of everything went right. I really enjoy it, and it's got quite a presence. It doesn't look massive in the pictures, but it's quite big because the base is quite tall, so it has quite the presence on the table. I really enjoy it. It's just fun for me to look at.
Yeah, I'd echo that. You mentioned it being bigger than it looks. Certainly that was the case at Telford when I was, and I think you had prime lighting at Telford as well. You were out kind of in the center of the comp, and it really looked great. And I think what stands out to me most, Ivan, is the yellow look, but then also the rust patina. That's something that I think is very hard to accomplish, especially over that type of color. And the rust tone is absolutely fantastic. Maybe talk a little bit about, what was that tone you used, and was it wet blending, dry blending, combination of the both?
Yeah. So the base was originally it was just a random mix of like dark brown and black for a rusty color, painted on the model, then her spray technique for the yellow, and then chip through all that, get all the desired chips I wanted, and then all of the rusting and the patinas were achieved with ammo streaker rust. That's all it was. Literally take it from the applicator, put it on the model, leave it to dry for about 10 minutes just so it's not shiny anymore, and then with odorless thinner, just applying the thinner next to where I've applied the rust so it leaches into it and then pulls it away. It just, you get this kind of perfect effect where it looks like the rust is slowly leaching and leaking out rather than it looking like it's applied to the model. It first time doing it and first time it worked. I'm usually quite scared of trying new techniques, but like I said, it's just one of those models where things just went right.
I really like the storytelling in this one. I think it's fantastic. It just sets a mood as soon as you look at it for the first time, and then as you take in all the details on it, it just kind of continues to build on that and really tells you a story. It's really a great piece, Ivan.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
yeah. Ivan, the figure is beautiful, but what really stood out to me was the wood on the deck or the pier. You did such a fantastic work on that wood. It's just so good. I'm just very impressed with that.
No, thank you. It means a lot because it's just a build that I enjoy. So if other people can enjoy it, like you guys said, it even better. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's dope. What's next? What's the next Mac project?
I've I've got quite a selection. I've got a Mark 44 to pick up mid-January. Kind of want to do that, but then I've got a Lunar Camel I want to do, but that's a big, awkward project. Don't know. It's going to be toss of a coin sort of thing, and we'll just see what lands on the desk.
Nice. Can't wait for it. Maybe you do a Snowscape abandoned camel. Who knows?
Maybe.
All right. Up next, we have our special guest for tonight, Jackson Stanton. Tell us a little bit about this big bad boy, the Tadpole.
Alrighty. First and foremost, it's impossible to photograph. So this is the Tacom 135th Tadpole, more or less the only game on the market. The build was one that fought me. This was the build I did right after getting back from nationals. I got back, I had a little minor personal trip, and then I got back and from that and immediately hit the bench with this. So I had a lot of energy going into it. That's probably the only reason I actually got through the build portion, but I'm glad I did, because what makes this build, one of my favorites this year, I think my best work is all the weathering I did on it and just painting in general. So with this build in particular, I completely changed up my style. I went with, very dark undertones for the base tone. And then I did a lot of modeling to just give a lot of visual interest. It was also my first time doing a lot of speckling. So there's a lot of oil and dirt and dust specks all over it. I also tried out highlighting individual rivets for the first time. I thought it was the perfect subject to do it. So I went and painted all 5,000 rivets on this thing in a lighter version of my base tone. And then the finishing off the build, I was really nervous about doing the mud on it because I've always struggled with earth effects. Never really been able to get it to look right, in my opinion. So this time I really thought about it. I planned it out. I tried using earth from my garden for the first time. So I was able to use that. I used basically my whole range of enamel and oil effects I had for weathering, even some acrylic mud as well. I used some scatter that looks like dry leaves. So yeah, really just overall, all the techniques that I tried on it for the first time, I think worked out really, really well. And I wasn't certain that they would when I went into it. So it was a very rewarding build.
Yeah, I love this build. Yeah, you know how much I love this build. I'll steal it from you eventually. Yeah, it's one of those, I think, of all the models you've done, the earth effects and the weathering on that it's just top tier. It has the pedigree. I enjoy looking at that model. I love it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I would give it to you, but I'm going to build out my model case a little bit more and take it around to a few more shows, and then you can have it.
Thank you.
Classic Ivan. I'm taking this.
Well, he is British.
That's mine.
You're going to go over Ivan's house. There's going to be the British Museum.
Yeah.
This is
All
what
this
I've
stuff I
pilfered.
miraculously found.
Now, going back to the build, Jackson, I love this piece too. Had the opportunity to see it at Telford. Did you have it done at Nats?
No, I did it right after Nats.
Okay, that's what I thought. So seeing it at Telford was pretty awesome. Just a really odd looking vehicle. Like you said, the patina, the different earth effects. I even like the white, scallop there to show where the original silhouette was. I just think you knocked it out of the park, and I think I'm going to have to buy a Tadpole now.
I can't blame you. It's a cool vehicle and got a lot of cool history too. And a little fun fact about this build is in the kit, it might have been user error, but I know at least one other person that had this issue. The kind of extension, the tail part tends to bow inward. And at first I really fought with that to get it straight. But then when I was doing my research, I actually found out that that's the whole reason why this thing didn't really get fielded, because those were constantly wiggling back and forth when it was turning and driving and stuff, and it was bending and breaking. So I thought it was a cool little thing, and now I can hand wave off, my build quality.
I'm curious as to what your favorite part of this is. In retrospect, is it your airbrush work? Is it your weathering? What about this build did you like the most?
I would have to say if I had to pick a single thing, it would be the mud, because I think I nailed the look I was going for. But really, it is just like the combination of all of these things. All the techniques I tried on this build are things that I've carried into builds since, and it's kind of like really honed in what I think is going to be my style going forward. For those of you that have seen the Rolls Royce that I'm working on, it's a very similar build. I'm actually using like the same wash color. It's also gray, a lot of modeling. And I think it was the build that I, like I said, figured out my style with. And so if you can consider that my favorite part, then I'd probably pick that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
almost sounds like a level up build.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the Rolls Royce, because Jackson, as soon as you were stating that, I was like, man, bingo, Rolls Royce. It has that feel. But I would say in the Rolls Royce, and for our listeners, I'm sure Jackson will share it soon enough in the group, you've almost punched it another level in terms of shading, not only pre and post, but really that wash and dare I say, it has a very night shift flavor to it.
Oh, that's a very high compliment. But, yeah, I'm very excited to get that build finished out and get some pictures posted of it, because the last build I did, the Samwa, it was a very interesting color scheme, and I wasn't really sure how to weather it. I couldn't really use the same techniques that I use on most of my builds, so I wasn't entirely happy with how it came out. But with the Rolls Royce, I felt like a relief, like a return to form. And so it's got me super pumped to get it done.
Beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. All right, up next, we have TJ.
So I think I talked about this in our last episode. This is called Offline. It's by Pedro Fernandez Works. It's a 1/10 scale resin bust. It's out of Spain, I believe, is where they're based. I chose this one because one, the sculpt is amazing, which isn't anything I had to do with it. I love this sculpt. It's one of my favorite sculpts. I saw, I can't remember, and I feel bad because I've talked to him before and told him how much I like it, but there's a painter that I followed on Instagram that has been working on this for months and months and months. He's just kind of puts it away and then comes back to it. And when I saw his, I was like, I got to have that. So I found out where to get one and I got it. But why I chose this one as my best build, I think it's just because I like it so much. It turned out pretty much exactly the way I wanted, which is rare, I think, for anyone for working on anything. You know, there's always something that you don't really quite like. There's maybe like one or two spots where I'm like, oh, that could maybe be a little bit better. But overall, I just really like the way it turned out. I really played with the textures on pretty much everything. The skin work was some of my best. And yeah, I just love this thing so much.
The gray, is that like a shirt or a scarf? Like around her neck and down below?
It's a scarf.
Yeah, I think the paint work that you did on that is just, for me, this is a really great piece. Sorry, it's all right, but the fabric, TJ, on this is really good. And in all seriousness, I've always liked the way you painted that.
Oh, thank you.
I'd like to add not just the cloth, but then that leather coat.
Yeah.
She's got a jacket, the layering, and then the weathering on it, especially on the fold there on the inside. That's outstanding work. Because I mean, there's no doubt exactly what I'm looking at. I'm looking at leather. I'm not looking at resin with paint on it. That looks real.
Yeah, I'm actually very very proud of that little section right there. That's the best piece of leather on it. Yeah, I kind of went with like a purplish tone. I've never seen purple leather before, but it's like a cyberpunk futuristic type thing. She's got the big scar down her face, and you can't see it from this picture, but she has like electronics in her ear and stuff, and obviously the weird mask, some sort of robot mask, I guess. I don't know. So I'm like, oh, they probably have purple leather in the future. Who knows? I mean, we might have it now. I don't know. I don't wear a leather jacket. Jackson would know. He wears a leather jacket. He's cool.
Certainly not purple. I'm not the Joker. I'll say some stuff too. I don't think I've seen this in person yet, because I don't think you had done it before, not PenCon, MarauderCon. I think that's the last time I saw you, other than when you came over.
Correct.
I'm really excited to see it in person. I think someone said it earlier. The texturing on this, I think, is like my favorite part. Like the scarf, the chest piece, the leather. It just, everything looks like the material it's meant to represent. It doesn't just look painted. Especially like when I first saw this build, I think the chest piece was the one that stuck out the most, because it really does just look like cold steel or some sort of, sci-fi alloy or something. It just gives that vibe. And yeah, I'm really, really stoked to see this in person, because it's one of my favorite pieces of yours.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, all right.
I like the hair. I mean, to tell you the truth, if you look at the bottom of her hair, you can see a lighter tone like natural hair does. When it gets longer, you get the lighter tones on the end, and it's darker on top. It's just, this is, like everybody said, TJ, it's amazing. Amazing.
I see Tim had hey Tim, I see you had a question. You asked, did I black out the white streak or paint over the brown on the hair? So I painted the whole head brown, all the hair brown all the way, highlights and everything, and then I went back and added the white streak, because I wasn't really sure if I was going to do the white streak, or I thought about maybe doing a different color. But I really like Rogue from the X-Men. She's one of my favorite X-Men characters, so I think she actually has 2 white streaks, but I was like, I might as well. So yeah, I went back and painted it. It's all AKA 3rd gen acrylics for the white streak. I have their white and gray set. It's like 6 bottles. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Very, very nice. All right. If there are no more questions on TJ's build, we're going to go on to Scott, our fearless leader. We are not worthy of this build.
This is wow.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, just on this build, it kind of in conjunction, we talked about this on the latest pod, but in conjunction with what we talked about, I wanted to do a build where a base and a presentation was a big part of what I did. And so that's really kind of what I spent a lot of time. Probably half of the time on this project was on the base and the presentation. So I took 3 of the Bandai panels that come in the kits and put them together. I took some from other kits and kind of created something I liked. And then Josh Buck, who was on our last episode, a good friend of mine, we took some MDF and played around with some designs and ended up on kind of this recessed base. And then I took the base and used some auto body filler and did 7 coats of that, and then I would wet sand each coat, so I got a nice smooth finish. And then local trophy shop made me look good. I took some fonts off of the internet and some information and did a couple plates, 1 on each side, and they did a great job printing those up and making them look good. And then in the little exhaust port thing there, my wife made me a bullseye target as just kind of a fun little, silly thing to add to it. So yeah, and it was a fun project, but yeah, I really wanted something that I could make a presentation with. So that's what I was shooting for.
Yeah, Scott, this is dope. Did you add anything to the kit, or is it purely out of the box?
Kit's just purely out of the box. I kind of did my own scheme. I tend to do that a little bit. Not everybody, but most of the people that build Y-Wings generally stick with the one on the box, and I wanted to go a little different. And then I used 3 different mid-tone grays for the uncovered body panels and tried to go from dark to light, and then just sort of built from there. And then I didn't like the droid head in the Bandai kit. I thought it was too small, so I had a leftover droid head from a fine mold 72nd scale kit and used that one instead. So I guess I used 1 part from a fine molds kit.
You're out of the basic kit category.
Yep. Sorry again. Scott, this thing is I can't wait to see this in person. That middle section of the body frame there is the detailing and the weathering you've done in that thing is it just stands out so much. Definitely a very, very, very great build.
Well, thank you, Grant. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So Scott, looking at the engine nacelles, how'd you do the chipped green paint? Was that hairspray or were you sponging, painting with a brush?
So the green on the back of the nacelle or the front?
The front, these little guys right here.
Yeah, those are actually that's all hand painted. I
Whew.
wanted it to look like 95% of it was gone, but originally that whole dome was green. And then the green on the back, I just did some chip sponge chipping.
Nice.
And then just the chipping and that is on it, especially on the nose section. I tried to keep it very, very small because it's just 1/72nd scale. So tried to do that.
It's pretty awesome, man. It's really, really well done.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. That's very nice.
Blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh man.
Will it be coming to Commies Fest, Scott?
Yeah. I think I'll bring it. Probably take it to Seattle as well. It's pretty recent finish, so yeah, I think I'll do that.
Texas.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Better.
Oh man. All right. And last and not least, I guess is
What? Who put the monogram kit in here?
Screw this guy.
Oh, I picked this because it's just one of the builds I thought just really clicked for me. It's Tacom's Yog Panther. 3D printed parts for the tools, the tracks. I actually 3D printed myself, so I think that was part of the reason too why I love this so much, was actually chipping away at that initial investment on a 3D printer and using tracks that I found on the internet. So this is it was just a lot of fun, painted in ammo acrylics and just a lot of different layers of weathering and trying to do my best attempt at night shift. But it was a lot of fun. Hopefully it'll be published sooner rather than later. And yeah, it was just a jolly good time. It's not as good as Sam Dwyer's King Tiger or Jonathan Anderson's Nubar Fodsog from Nationals, but it's decent, I guess. So, but
it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it was a fun build, no less. And I learned a lot. And I think the biggest thing I learned was to accomplish certain types of finishes. It just takes a while. When I compare this to some slammer builds, the base paint, the camouflage pattern might be similar, but as you start looking at the different layers, the patina, chip paint with the rust on it, and then just more layers of dust and debris and all those things, it's really hard to get in a slammer build. So for this, I think taking my time, just paid off in a sense.
I really like.
Go
Go ahead, Ivan.
No, you.
I really like the dust that you can see on the horizontal surfaces, and this angle doesn't capture them well, but those look really, really good. And then also, I'm really digging the exhaust textures, the rust. It's got a kind of a 3-dimensional element to it. I think it looks really terrific, JB.
Oh, thanks.
I know you're really highly complimentary on Tacom's kit. Like I know you love the kit. Would you say it's the best Yag Panther out there?
Yeah, for me. So this is, for the audience, this is a Yag Panther G1, and the G1s had Zimmerit. And for that reason alone, I would pick this as probably the best G1 kit out there, because the Zimmerit, I think it looks pretty good for injection molded. And I mean, you can paint it, and because I've had multiple people say, "Oh, is that ATAC or did you do it yourself?" And I'm like, "No, that's the kit Zim." And they're like, "Whoa,
Wow.
I need to go buy this kit," because I know some manufacturers, almost all of them, have struggled with Zimmerit patterns, or even not only the accuracy of the pattern, but the texture of the pattern. Just it's a very hard thing to do in injection molding. And I think Tacom nailed this one. The only thing that was a little bit of a workaround was where the MG mount goes into the glacis plate, and that had kind of a bare spot around it, but I was able to blend it with some simple Aves epoxy sculpt to kind of replicate that pattern and texture it. But yeah, overall, if I see this kit, I would buy it and build it again. It's full interior. I didn't do the interior, but the outer shell is absolutely fantastic.
Plus, you got the nice commander up there. Drive me closer so I can shoot him with my pistol.
Yeah. Gosh, that commander figure. So that is Alpine's. That was part of their first, I guess you could say, tranche of releases back in the early 2000s. And Tayson probably doesn't remember me, but I was like 16 or 17. And that was, he had the German, he had a Russian, and he had an Englishman tanker. And that was actually from their first release. So it's kind of cool to finally finish that and put that figure in a build. But yeah. So
It's pretty.
Yeah, it is.
And that tritone, I think you're getting better at that. I think a few more of these, and you might have that down.
We can't all get shout outs from Night Shift.
You're making me blush. We're gonna move on to somebody else now. I'm gonna change up this a little bit, and I do want to highlight some of our listeners. So I went online and I pulled 6 or 7 photos. So apologies for the smaller size, everyone. This is Facebook quality. But I pulled 7 or 8, and I'd like to just highlight them, and I'd ask for you gents to chime in and tell us what you love about it. But I think it's clear this is Jesse Naughton's piece from his vignette. It was at the IPMS Nationals. Probably one of my most favorite pieces of the group build, not only because of the execution, but the story as well.
Yeah, it's a fantastic finish too. The dust looks so good on the black and green camo. It's not overdone, it's not underdone. I think you really nailed that.
Yeah, I just really liked it, so I wanted to highlight it.
Yeah, the scrapes on it too. The scraping on the side, the plates, and the star where they would chip it away to get rid of that big, huge white target. So this is a very nice build. Very, very nice.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was also published in Military Modelcraft International or military. It was published recently, and I have the article. It's really, really well done.
Wow.
And Jesse's a cool guy too. Shame me and Jackson didn't see him in Atlanta 2 weekends ago. All right, another one that stood out to me. This guy, great guy, Gobbles.
What's the deal with Ian?
What's the deal with Ian, man? How did he knock this out of the park?
Yeah, bones models. Yeah, just I think every time Ian touches a green Russian tank, he gets better at it. I mean, it's just his green finishes are just incredible, and that lower hole, I think Ivan would describe that as sublime.
Oh. Sublime, tasty.
Yeah. He's got a thing for Russian vehicles.
I can tell you what the deal with Ian is. He's a damn good modeler.
Yeah.
The deal with
He keeps getting better.
Yeah.
I've told before. I mean, his base level was already pretty high, and it's just improved. He's really good.
The exhaust on this thing is, if you see a top picture, it's just very, very good. Like you said, like everybody says, he's getting so good, and just the greens and the just looks great.
Yeah. So moving to another build.
Ooh,
is Jeremy Moore 0, and Jeremy Moore, I have a lot of respect for. I think his builds are some of the best, either in the air or on the ground. The guy is a master.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that Jeremy and Luftraum Chris are 2 1/72nd scale modelers that are just blowing it away. I mean, this doesn't look like a 1/72nd scale model. This looks like a 48 or a 32nd scale, and everything that Jeremy does has subtlety to it, and is just a beautiful, beautiful 0.
Yeah, it's the Tamiya kit. And funny story, Scott, I'm going to call you out live. It is a 48 scale kit.
Oh, okay. Woo. Sorry, Jeremy, but it's still great. John will actually be talking to Jeremy on the podcast here pretty soon, so we'll have to talk about this piece.
I can't wait. Jeremy's a good guy, and he passes through Denver from time to time. He's a pilot, and I hope he can maybe pick the Commies Fest weekend to stop by, because I know Derek Post is a pilot as well, and that would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
The cowling on this thing, the black cowling, black is so hard to do, and this is just with the subtle scratches and the chips is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a master. No one likes him.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, he's great. Jeremy's great. Super nice guy too. As Scott mentioned, he'll be on the pod. Can't wait to talk about his work, his background, and what he has planned next.
So Derek was asking if this will be saved, and I believe that answer is yes. The live.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be available on YouTube and also Facebook as well.
All right, up next, we have Justin Ryan. I wanted to call out him. Justin's a really great supporter of the podcast. He shared his P47 with us, the bubble top. Really, really nice work. And I just thought we should highlight it. And Justin, again, he's been a constant supporter. We've seen him develop throughout his time within the group, and it was great to see him post this. And I think he did a great job.
Love a P47.
Yep. Anybody that can do steel colored paint, silver colored paint like that is just walking on water.
Yes, super nice.
Different shades of like the bare metal. On
It's really
nice.
Yeah, just subtle tones like that. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Cool. We will continue flipping through another one. So Matthew Schaefer sent this over to us. I thought it was really cool. It stuck out. Again, great supporter of the podcast. He posts a lot in the group and really has seen him evolve throughout the year, and really enjoy this. I think he's taking a memo out of Brian Krieger's book, modeling at the kitchen table, probably got some spices in the background as a good luck charm. So very, emulating greatness can get you there. I think he's on the right track. So
making lemonades out of lemons, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Making pasta out of spices, it's there. So, but yeah,
beautiful,
anyway.
Beautiful color.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Good job. And then this gentleman right here, this is our good friend Luke from the Black Rifle Model Works, and this was really great. Ivan and Jackson and I all saw it in person at Telford. Thought he knocked it out of the park. I believe he was given an award for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I believe this was a gold winner.
Yeah, I think you are right. These kits are not small by any measure, and again, I thought he knocked it out of the park. Really, really
screw this guy. First time entering at Telford gets a gold.
It's a gold. So we're super happy Luke shared it in the group, and just really enjoyed it.
Amazing.
Again, something with yellow, man.
I tell you,
great.
Yeah.
All right, what do we have next? We have a good friend, Doug Reed. This is his M30. Wanted to call out Doug, another longtime supporter of the podcast, who we've seen grow with his work. He's been focusing a lot on armor. He supported the group build, super gracious about that. And this is one of the builds that he posted for his best build of 2022. And it's a vehicle that you don't often see, and doesn't get a lot of airtime when there's Tigers and Panthers and Sherman's Oh My on the table. So really cool to see a unique subject that was really well executed. So hats off to Doug. Can't wait to see him up in Seattle.
Yeah, great work on that, Doug.
Yep.
And then we're getting towards the end. I picked a few more. Another aircraft. This is John Bryan's Supermarine Walrus. It's so ugly, it's beautiful.
I love it.
The natural metal on it. I mean, so John is he's world-class modeler, and I think this just exemplifies his style and execution.
I swear I swear the British just throw things on a table and say that's a plane.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm right, this is the Airfix kit.
It is. I believe it is.
Yep.
I mean, look at it, because all those rivets are included in the kit. I mean, we're talking about Airfix.
Oh man. Yeah. And he nailed it. And I love the I love the streaking underneath the wing,
Mhm.
the sepia tones, just really, really well done, and knocks that silver dope out of the park.
Yep.
The guy is fearless too. The Catalina that he did, and this one. It doesn't matter if a kit's hard. If he wants to build it, he's going to build it, and he just never takes no for an answer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful rigging too. The rigging on this thing is so. Just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
highlighting some of his other recent work, he did a Sea Knight, the
Mm.
helicopter,
Yeah.
and he riveted the thing.
Mhm.
I mean, I think he spent $4,000 on Archer dry transfer rivets. I mean, holy cow, it's awesome. So I know he's a little upset with kind of how, I think he mentioned some film on the rivets, which it's barely, you can't really see it. And then he mentioned some other disappointing things. I'm like, dude, I'd be proud to have that model on the shelf just like this. So John, keep up the great work. Thanks for the support. And thank you again for the ride from Heathrow for Jackson and I. And then last but not least, this guy.
This guy.
Sam Dwyer. He's from the book. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think he wrote a book, didn't he? Yeah.
Is that Sam Dwyer from the book?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Wait, you're talking about the Sam Dwyer?
The
Sam
Sam
Dwyer.
Dwyer. Yeah.
The guy from Australia?
Yeah.
That guy?
So
Oh my!
I just wanted to highlight this build. We have a couple group builds that we've been doing. This was for Samoa Over the Rainbow earlier this year. He knocked it out of the park. I think this is this Free French after the war?
Yeah, I
So-
think so. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free French taken from the Germans
Yeah.
in 44.
So I thought he knocked it out of the park. Shame we couldn't see it in at Nats, but we just devised the group build there, and I was a strap hanger. So, but bottom line, I just wanted to highlight this was a favorite build that was posted in the group. Sam shared it, constantly shares with the group. Really happy with his contributions and really honored. Sam's world renowned, and we're super happy that he shares it with us. And this is one build that was highlighted, and he considered it his best build, and we certainly think that as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the chipping is fantastic, and you'll notice the release levers, the extra rivets that he's added. I mean, this is not a stock box Tamiya build. This is really, really sharp. So, as we would expect from Sam,
Yeah.
fantastic work.
You're right, Craig. He is making the Australians proud. He's doing some fantastic. Look at the little bit of mud above the bottom of the tracks there on the top, right? The top
Yeah.
of the track. That is just wow. I just the little things like that, and just wow.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to continue on the theme for 2022, and I'd like to go around the room, and I'm going to go the opposite way I did last time. But we're going to talk about what we didn't finish or accomplish in 2022. So it could be technique related, it could be a build itself, but one thing that you left on the table, probably physically, in 2022, but that you would like to see finished or grown in 2023. And I'll start off with Jackson. So when you look at 2022, what is something that you didn't accomplish but hope to in 2023?
So for mine, I think streaking is the big thing I want to truly pick up next year. I think I've tried a lot of new techniques, and I think I've become very comfortable with a lot of them, but streaking is the one thing that I cannot just nail down. I know Zach Grizz, he's got the same issue, so maybe him and I will go to a workshop together or something. But yeah, I want to start doing more streaking on my builds and just keep at it until I end up with a result I'm happy with.
Nice. Doug, coming over to you in Utah.
Let me unmute myself. Wow, I've got a few kits that are still sitting that I'd love to work on and get finished. I started the Yak one about 4 months ago and ran into a little snag and just stuck it on the shelf. I'm going to get back to it. I need to finish that. But most of all, the one that I really, really want to work on and finish is the Perfect Grade Falcon. Because I started it, I got some good progress on it. It was looking pretty good, but there's just so much to it. It's kind of hard to stay focused on a kit that has 600 plus pieces and just punch it out. I know a lot of guys do it, but I certainly am not one of those. So I'm ready to jump back into that as well. And then work on figure stuff. That's the thing that I started working on, because we all kind of got into 3D printing, and I printed some stuff. Nothing like cast resin, beautiful, human faces or anything. I haven't done any of that. Started practicing a little bit on it, but I mean, I did things like some Lord of the Rings stuff. I don't know if you can even see that. I did this little cave troll, and he was a lot of fun, and I'd like to do more of that. I would like to just keep punching away at it. Like TJ's said in the past, you don't just do it. You don't just pick up and do it. He's practiced for years and years, and I'm going to be. I would like to just keep plugging away at it, and maybe someday be painting something that I'll be happy.
Nice. Completely understand. And speaking of TJ, how about you?
Man, that's a really, really tough question. I really don't know. I feel like I accomplished kind of what I wanted to do this year, and I didn't. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one. Armor, for whatever reason, though it's my preferred genre of modeling, I've really struggled probably since before Nats to complete an armor subject. The last thing I did was the Sherman A1, which did well at Nats. It came in second to someone else's Sherman that's in this live chat with us. And yeah, ever since then, I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. And I've tried very hard. You can see some of them behind me. Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't finish any of those. There's like 3 of them sitting back there. I'd like to do that.
Nice. Shermans are awesome. We know a couple experts, as you mentioned. One of them is in the room right now, and not too far away from you.
Not an expert. Dave would roll over. He'd be so upset.
I mean, I think you should be the Sherman guy. I mean, we have a clamp master. You're the Sherman master. I mean, I'm just saying. So, but no, more Shermans are always good.
We got a 3-tone master, so
that's true.
Man.
Yeah,
so,
TJ, sorry, I was just gonna say, TJ, I want to see more armor from you. I really do, because I love
100%. We need more Shermans.
More. I've got a lot back there.
Oh man! All right, going over to Ivan. Tell us everything.
This is going to be like that thing. I don't know how many of you will be aware. Like Billie Eilish did an interview every single year, and every year the interview is exactly the same. So my answer is going to be pretty much the exact same as last year. I need to find the love for modeling again. I don't know if it's just the time of the year or what, but for some reason I've questioned my enjoyment and wanting to have be in the hobby. It's weird. It's a hobby I love. I think I enjoy doing it, but I need to rediscover that real passion for doing it. And I know for a fact I said this last year on the podcast that next year I want to really enjoy it, and I'm saying it again, and I'll probably say it again next year. So it's a simple one for me. Find the love for it again.
Didn't you love Telford? I thought.
I mean, they're the bits I really enjoy. I don't actually enjoy build. I don't build scale models. Screw that. I just like going to events.
You just have walls of them.
Yeah, I'm involved in the industry. I'm not actually a model builder. Yeah, it's just a nice simple one. Rediscover the enjoyment of it.
Well, you got to stop building Ming jumbo tracks.
That doesn't help. Yeah, that doesn't help. It's annoying because for the past, I know you and Jackson both made me go to the spray booth on Zoom calls. It was like, no, go and paint your model. And once I painted it, I was like, this looks really cool. I'm enjoying this now. But it's just, to put it bluntly, I just can't be arsed modeling. I'll sit here and I'm like, I don't want to work over that. I don't want to touch anything. But when I get kind of forced into it, I enjoy it. So I need to just find out what the block is and get through it.
Dude, your jumbo is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because we're online and you're my friend, but you've shared pictures in the group, and you took it from that very static olive drab that looks like a monument to really making it, very, very artistic in, going with the darker shaders and then bringing out that lighter OD. I'd be proud to be able to, have that at a point at that, on my bench and be able to take it to the finish line. I think you have a really great, base for weathering, and just honestly, you can almost leave it as is, for crying out loud.
Thank you.
And if you ever figure out what the key is to getting yourself to enjoy it, let me know, because I've been in the same boat lots of times. Like the week before Christmas, I was questioning everything. So I get it, man. I think everybody's been there.
Oh yeah.
JB, I'd like to. I mean, Craig brings up a really good point. I think that I certainly relate to it. I can't speak for anybody else, but we have these model kits in our stashes, and we all have sizable stashes. But mine, that what Craig highlights is really something I struggle with. Where just we talked about this in our last podcast, but just do it. Just don't take no for an answer, and just do it. And honestly, with few exceptions, if you mess it up, just go get another one. If you mess up a Tamiya Zero, go get another Tamiya Zero.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Scott. When you think about, this has recently happened to me. I lost all the inertia, all the momentum, Telford riding high, and then it was like literally a plane crash. It was a buildup where probably September, October, I finished 4 kits, went to Telford, unbelievable experience, came home and did jack all for November. And I recently, only within the last week or two, got to more serious bench time. I think there were outside distractions, but when I did have the opportunity to go to the bench, and I'd love for you guys to chime in too if you've had this feeling, but there's just no desire to. Like, I'd rather, like you said, Ivan, I'd rather just hang out and talk about modeling than actually do modeling.
Yep.
And it's only been the last couple days, and specifically yesterday, I forced myself. I'm like, I got all these things in primer. I don't see the finish line anytime soon. Oh, this little whippet, squirrel, grab it, paint it, prime it, paint, even finish some weathering last night. And I hope to finish it by tomorrow night. So I can totally relate to just momentum just gone and in an ether of nothing. So I'd be curious if you found that, Grant. You crack stuff out, almost as fast as TJ, I find.
No, I don't. I work on stuff, but I have the
survey
same
says that's a lie, but
no, I it's the same for me too. Is that I sometimes the day gets to you, and you come home and you sit at the table, and it's just too much. And I'd love to find that. And if you find that cure, we're going to bottle that and we're going to make $1 million.
It'll be on the PPP merch store.
Yeah. Yes, it will. Because, there's not a single person listening or talking right now or, on the screen that has not gone through this. Some people I know have gone through it for a year or two. They walked away from their table. And, it's just, TJ is right too, though, is that sometimes you just have to get, just do it, and JB just getting that 1/72 whippet, putting it, painting it, doing some stuff. Slammer builds, man. That's perfect. That's what I do. I just grab a figure, paint it, go to the next one, and that helps me get through it, and to tell you the truth, listening to you guys, looking at what people are putting on the website, there's the people on the website, all of them are producing fantastic pieces, and it just makes you want to do what they're doing. So, I find a lot of motivation from everybody out there, a lot of motivation, and because, I want to be able to produce too. So.
No, that's a great point. Let's see. Oh, Richard Craig. Yeah. Winning bench when it was back. Yeah. It cycles 100%, it ebbs and flows. It's almost, and Ivan, you probably can relate. Heck, we all can. I think a show is a great anchor towards like a goal. And you want to, okay, I'm going to get X, Y, and Z done by it. I'm going to bring this, this, and this, stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning before the show and finish it, bring it. You go to the show, you feel inspired, you buy things, you get home, and yeah, you want to hit the bench, but it gets back to what Cliff said around analysis paralysis. And it's just weird how it all works sometimes. And sometimes you just can't get through it alone. And it really takes literally someone saying, dude, you need to finish that. Go over there. And it's not like you can avoid the text. You're literally on a Zoom call with them, and they're like, listen, I see you sitting there. The airbrush is right behind you. Go do that.
Well, and once in a while, I mean, it isn't healthy if it's like this all the time. But once in a while, it's okay if you go through a little bit of a spell. This hobby is great in that you don't always have to be painting or building or whatever to enjoy it. I mean, you could be doing research. You could be looking at new kits. You could be doing historical research. You could be looking at, different ways to paint your Mac suits. There's other things you can do as long as at some point, hopefully your bench calls you back and you get moving again. But I think sometimes it's okay to take a break, and, we don't want to turn anyone's hobby into a job. At least I don't, Grant, mentioned having a tough day when you've had one of those 10-hour days and customers have yelled at you and deadlines are slipping. Sometimes you're just not in the right mood to hit the bench. If you make a mistake, models might fly across the room,
And one thing I've realized is, for me, very, very recently, a lot of people use modeling as a distraction for whatever. I've now learned that I can't do that. If I've got other stuff going on or stuff that's on my head, I can't focus on something else. It's very much one or the other. So I've learned that if I'm being really productive when I'm modeling, it's because I've got no drama. I've got nothing else to think about. So if something else is eating away at me, this can't help that. I just can't split the focus. And that's fine. I've now learned that is the case. And I've accepted it.
That's a really interesting perspective, because I go to modeling to get away from things.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm the totally opposite of that. So that's great, though. I mean, and the fact that you understand it now and you see it, that is even better. That is the best thing.
Yeah, that's a really important point, Grant. I think awareness is the biggest thing. And, everyone's situation is unique, but having the wherewithal and the awareness to understand, what makes you tick. Ivan's case is a perfect example of that, where it's polar opposite of me, but it's good that we both understand, that occurrence. I do want to go back to a comment. Theron posted, I want to get over the fear of using the airbrush and, actually use it. And this goes back to, I think, a comment Scott made, and especially Theron has mentioned, I've had it for 3 or 4 years and it just intimidates me. The same could be said a lot about kits. And Scott mentioned, having it to me is 0 and being worried. And I think this is a theme that we've heard on other podcasts where, I'm going to wait to build this kit. And I think maybe we have talked about it too. I think it's important that, again, having the awareness, at least for me, I'm just going to build it. Screw it. And gets back to what Scott said. If you mess up, there's always more. Unless it's super rare, I guess. But even then, I doubt you'll screw it up that bad. But going to the airbrush there and, heck, just pull out, just do it tomorrow. I know it's very easy for me to say and probably for us to agree on, but just do it. Nike's brand is successful for a reason. So it's a great saying. Just do it.
Hey, Theron, I had the same problem a while ago too myself, and a really good friend of mine who's a figure painter named John Everett. Not John Everett, sorry. John, Eastling's my side, sorry. Too many Johns, sorry. So what he told me to do is when I get home from work or when I get a little bit of time during the day, or it doesn't have to be every day, but just take a little bit of paint, take a piece of white cardboard and just paint. Just write your name, do spots, do circles. You don't have to paint anything. Just get used to using the airbrush. And it's by the usual fact of just using it every other day or every day, painting a little bit, 5-10 minutes, you will get used to it. And it worked for me. I mean, maybe it'll work for you. Just trying to throw some ideas out there for you. It'll get that fear, in my opinion. It helped me get the fear away from me also.
Cameron's point here that was up on the screen, find a mule to play with, is spot on. That's how I've learned to do a lot of different things with my brush and try techniques that I would never try on a model that I was trying to build. I just, from hairspray chipping to layering and other things that I've been playing with, I use a paint mule. And so Cameron's absolutely right on that one.
I would also say participate in the community, go to your local model club, schedule a model show to show up and, set a goal to take a piece with you, be inspired by other people and, just try and pull from that inspiration. It works for me.
Yeah, Scott, you mentioned something there, pulling the community and being an active participant in it. I think that's a really good point. We're very fortunate to have an absolutely fantastic Facebook group and group builds. And I think that is an important thing. And we even have group builds amongst ourselves. The Somwa example, as we showed from Sam. Right now, we're doing an American Heavy series, which Jackson's M6 is behind him. For me, at least, it's a big motivator because I see the progress that they're making. I'm like, man, I'm jealous. They're doing some really great work. I want to be a part of this conversation. I want to be able to contribute. And I find that that's a great motivator too, is seeing your friends' work, seeing their momentum and like literally running next to their train and trying to grab on and ride it with them, because it's certainly been motivating for me. And even in the Mac group build is another example. There's a ton of great work going on in there. Lots of community engagement, and it's really inspiring, and that helps out a lot. So Scott, you threw up Derek's comment. I think that is a really, really, really great one, and great advice.
Yeah, and to kind of go back to the community thing, a good friend of ours, Martin Drayton, he had an Iwata brush and it wasn't working right for him. We have a couple of club nights where we get together, once or twice a month, and he brought it over, and Cameron, Corliss, and myself, we dove into it, and it was kind of plugged up, but we got him all cleaned and showed him how to clean it, moving forward. And, as a group, it's a lot simpler problem to overcome than, just by yourself. So I'd put another plug in for just, become a part of that local community.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to go off mute there. If you heard my dog, my Andy's Hobby headquarter order just showed up. So I'm very happy about that. So where were we? This has been a great topic, and it's really kind of spiraled in a lot of different ways. And it's great to see the engagement from people that are listening and watching. Feel free to comment, feel free to ask a question or share some thoughts on the topics that we're discussing. One of the things we mentioned is it's going to be a new year, looking forward into 2023. We've talked about what we want to carry over, but that didn't really, doesn't really answer the big question in the room, which is, what is your goal for 2023? And maybe we'll just start off with a simple project. What is a project that you want to do in 2023 that it's either been on the shelf for a while? It could be a shelf clean. It could be a model that's been in your stash. It could be a new release. Andy's Easy 8 comes to mind. So, I would love to kick it around the room. Please, if you're listening in, feel free to contribute to this discussion topic. And I'll start the other way. Scott, what's 2023 look like for you?
I think 2023 is looking pretty good. My project that I'd really like to finish and probably here pretty quick is we started a group project a while back, and I didn't finish my piece for that. It's a SU-76, but it's a little bit different take on it. I've got a shelf full of, I wouldn't call them shelf queens. It's just a big queue, but it's models that I've started and I haven't finished. So my first goal of 2023 is to get that little SU-76, actually finished and move forward, and maybe hopefully do the same thing with some of those other projects that are stuck.
That's awesome. That SU-76 has been living in secrecy, and really looking forward to having it shared with everyone. Scott's a builder, everyone. He spends. We are indebted to him for his service to the Plastic Posse. He makes the wheel go round here. But when he does model, it is certainly awesome. And I have seen some photos. And Scott, maybe you can give a sneak peek coming into the new year for the team. So, but yeah, your work is great. Grant, you're up next. What's 2023 have for you?
I've got the old Tamiya M1, the 105 version, the original version. But I want to build M1 IP, which is the same caliber, but with a modified turret, with basically the M1A1 turret with the 105. That it's going to take a lot of work because the original M1 needs a little bit of work. But I think that's my goal for nationals. Besides my Machine Krieger, I want to finish for that. But yeah, I think I want to have that M1 IP 105 millimeter Abrams done for nationals. It's been sitting on the back shelf for a while, so that's my goal.
Nice. Whose kit was it again? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Tamiya. Both of them are Tamiya. So it's an M1, the original 105, and an M1A1 turret modified.
Sweet. Can't wait to see it. Before we go on to Ivan, there were 2 comments. Craig, can't wait to see you in Texas. We would love to see you there at San Marcos. It's certainly a great pilgrimage and one not to be missed. We'll go through another comment. Cliff Herring, thank you again, Cliff, for all your contributions to the pod, either on Facebook or here. You know, your Mark 44 is absolutely fantastic, and I think you can easily get it done before August. The interior work that you're doing, the work on the seat, the color of the, I guess you can consider it a cockpit, just really, really well done. And then let's see, Bill Huffman going down. Okay, so Cameron's slowing down. Let's see Bill's comment real quick, Scott. I'm going to publish weekly videos once again. Outstanding, Bill. That's going to be great. We are huge fans of your work. Love your latest Africa core diorama with the ME109 up top and the multi-layer, I guess Frankenstein, Wolfenstein type of environment underneath. So really great work. Can't wait to see it. Let's see. Cameron, need to slow down. Quality over quantity and not treat it like a race. That's a good point. I don't think there is any harm in setting artificial deadlines, though, but having the flexibility to take your time is good. And then let's see. Thunderbird's entry for Vegas stats. Okay. So Vegas was, might be done for, so 4 years in the making. Nice. All right, David. I had a double take there, but no, that's good. Cool. My question is, Thunderbirds the U.S. Air Force demo team or the, I guess you could say the comic, the series, the sci-fi? So
Probably for
the puppet show.
Probably for the demo team. I think that was one of the special categories for Nats.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, cool.
They're based in Nellis, I believe.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
I thought I had the wrong reservations this year. All of a sudden, I was like,
I
wait
know.
a minute.
I had to double check. I was like, whoa, we're going back to Vegas? Like, holy, I'm in Texas. That's why I caught off guard there. But now we're going to go over to Sir Ivan Jensen Taylor.
No idea.
Come on, man. You got a wall of kits.
I was just about to say, me and Jackson prepared for this question. We got like a pile of kits ready, and now it seems like we've gone way over the top.
Let's flash a few. Come on, man. Grab them.
Right, well, one of the I've been saying this for the past few nights. I've had the wall of kits staring at me while I've been staring at the wall. Right field, whatever you call it, Tiger. I know me and Ian really want to do this very specific one. It doesn't have to be that one. I have every right field Tiger they've released. The problem is, the one I don't have, the brand new one that's got all the Zimrit molded on, that's the one I actually really want to do. So I'm going to have to buy that. I also really want to do the little tractor from Mini Art. Like,
nice.
but it's mini art, so it might frustrate me. Lots of parts, but
4,000 pieces.
just for the wheel. Yeah, so I want to do that. I'm going to try and get through these quick because obviously I'm
No,
massively
No,
overcompensating.
this is
no,
good.
dude.
A build we've all got. I said we've all got.
Ooh.
Oh,
T-
yes.
TJ doesn't want to
yes,
join in with it.
Yes.
The 116th FT17s. Like I know
Yep.
me and Jackson are really excited for these.
I have one.
Yes.
And I keep telling you, join in with us.
I'd rather do the 35th scale one.
Oh,
No, put your big boy pants on and do the big one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Look into
we've
my
got-
eye.
Rick Lauer's doing that right now. So
Exactly. We
Yeah,
bought
it's
these at
beautiful.
Nats, and it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, we should do these as a build. Since I bought it, I've really wanted to do
Ooh.
because Panthers are really cool, and that's a Panther with anti-air on it, which is even cooler.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tack and Panthers are just
Beautiful.
the good.
Yeah.
To go along with another build, the group build group has been discussing
Ooh.
Ooh.
quite a big project because it's got the full interior, it's got everything. And again, just being in the pile, it keeps looking at me like, oh, I don't want to do it soon. So it's on the cards for the year. I imagine I'll start it, probably won't finish it. And from the Secret Santa, obviously,
Ooh.
I have to get this in, because it's a First World War armored car, and it's in cool Japanese service. So yeah,
I mean, you have to build that. We have a deadline.
yeah, that has to be done for. I've got 8 months. We'll see. But yeah, that's quite the pile. I would have brought more because I thought everyone else was bringing more. But it's fine. Me and Jackson were like, "How many kits are you bringing to the show?" I was like, "I think I'm going to bring 5." He's like, "Oh, I brought 10."
There you go.
So they're the ones I kind of really want to do. Whatever fits in between them is nice. But if I could just finish the year and get all of them done, I'd be very happy.
Nice.
No comment.
See, there's a lot of aftermarket being released for them on the internet now. I'm like, I really, especially with the Tancraft Pro tracks.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, I'm gonna have to buy one of these kits.
Yeah.
As much as for a while it's like, nice looking kit. Do I want it? No. It's like, I really want it now. I really want it.
Oh man. Well, I am certainly looking forward to a few of those. Bird Panther, yes, please.
Yes.
All right, going over to TJ. What's 2023 have in store for you?
I mean, the first thing is this big bitch here, the Nutcracker.
Nice.
Yeah, I really want to do this. I love this thing. It's one of my favorite Machina Krieger designs. I mean, it doesn't help that Brian has done one and it's amazing. So it's no pressure to do well, knowing that there's already the best one that exists. So yeah, that's going to be probably number 1 on the list. Obviously, it's already started. One of the other things I think I mentioned in one of our group chats the other day, I want to do more World War I stuff. I love World War I subjects. I have a ton. I have a bunch of rhomboids. I started the Saint Chamond. I want to finish that. I want to do the little FT. I've already done one. I want to do another one. Yeah, and I have a Sherman project that I started after Nats. It's a British Sherman 3. Hobbs has helped me with a little bit of the research. I have the unit, all that stuff. I have a haul from TMD to go with it, but it's not the best. Yeah, fight me if you want. Not worth what I paid for it. I might try to make it work. I don't know. But I have a reference picture that is amazing, and I'm not the biggest fan of building the reference pictures. I'd rather do my own thing, but I love the picture. It's just loaded with, like, I think it's got 4 different kinds of Sherman tracks as applique armor, and it's got crew guys hanging out. I got some Alpine figures that kind of look like the guys that are hanging off of it. I think there's like 4 or 5 guys on it. I'm not going to put all of them on it, but I really want to do that as like my Texas project and bring that specifically to Texas. And then I have the big Sherman too that I've started, and I that will also come to Texas, and whatever it'll be done by the time we get to Texas. Hopefully it's done to where I want it to be, because I told Andy that it would be there, because I'm pretty sure Andy's going to be there. So I told him I would bring mine.
Nice. So encouragement.
I think
Thanks.
a couple of us. I think a couple
Have
of
a
us
nice
have
life.
Have a great life.
Oh man, no, the big Sherman is definitely on my list too. So Doug, what's 2023 look like for you?
Well, other than finishing a few things, I would like to do more armor and maybe broaden my horizons a little bit. Most of my armor this year was actually British armor, which surprised me. But every time I looked at my stash, I was like, that's what I want to build. So I'd grab it and then I'd build it. So I pulled a couple out. I've got this cute little Tamiya, little Frenchie here,
Nice.
R35. That could be fun. Play around with it. It's not real big. It should be a fast build, but the paint should be a challenge. I won this at Nats, and I think I'll build it. I want to do something natural metal, and so I'll probably do this Mustang. And there's markings in the kit for a one that has this beautiful dark blue tail on it that I think that's what I want to do. And then this is the show off. I keep pulling it out, and I should stop because look, I've been doing this for too long to not have it done yet. But this thing's humongous, this Falcon, and it needs to be done. I'm doing this one straight out of the box. It's actually being done for a friend, but it needs to be finished.
It's big.
And there's going to be a whole lot of little Star Wars things too. I just want to be able to get to a point where I'll just, if I'm feeling like I just need something to cleanse my palate, I'll pull out an A-wing or an X-wing and just throw it together, because those things I can knock out and do a pretty good job on. They're just because they're my favorites.
Nice.
Nice.
Can't wait for it. So we're going to go over to Jackson, who apparently has a stack of 10 kits.
It's not that many, but
It's not
So let's get started.
All right. So first and foremost, I'm going to be trying to finish out the M6 I got sitting behind me for our group build. I've got that same howitzer that TJ's working on, the Daswerk M1918. That build is done, so paint on both of those. I want to finish up the Rolls Royce. And then I also started my TARDIS I picked up at Telford. So just finishing off stuff on my bench. That'll be my first goal in January. In terms of long-term projects, I've got 2 kind of like magnum opus builds that have been in the works for a while. One of them I've been working on for 2.5 years now, and that's Trumpeter's 1/200th Titanic. I'm not going to finish it this year. I'm not even going to pretend like I will, but I want to get more work done on that because I didn't touch it at all this year. And I found out that Ivan actually has the kit in his stash. So we're going to try to motivate each other. And like JB said, grab onto each other's train to get us through that build, because it's a long job for sure. The other one is I do actually have the kit for in front of me. I've got the Ryfield full interior Easy 8. So I'm actually doing a bunch of conversion work for that one to make a one-off radio communication vehicle from Korea called the Porcupine.
Yep.
So I've been doing a lot of research at the archives for that and trying to make this build. And I've never seen it done before, so I'm super excited to get it done. So those are the ones that I have set in stone. The rest are all the things that I came up with talking to Ivan earlier, looking at my stash. So it's already been shown, but I've got my 1/16th Renault. So yeah, it'll be Ivan and I, Scott, Zach, and Ian working on those. Those are the people who've confirmed so far. So we'll all be building one. Really looking forward to that. I've also got the very old. Let me not
Oof.
blurred out. Very
Wow.
old, venerable Tamiya M151.
Love it.
So I'm
Love that
actually
kit.
going to build this one up as the shop vehicle. I get to drive around on Fridays. And huge shout out to Steve Reed. He sent me the very hard to get Edward photo etch set for. So
Wow,
I
that is a good find right there.
yeah, he was like, "Oh, I've got a ton. I'll send you one." I was like, "Dude, are you
Jeez.
sure?" But I'm excited to start that. I've also got my entry to the Mech Group build, the Noise Spotter. So
OG noise spotter.
yeah, I have not started this yet, and I'm running out of time. So I will try to get the ball rolling on that as soon as possible. But hey, I did my Sherman Group build entry last minute as well, and that did pretty well. So
Pretty well.
Yeah.
I've also got the AFV Club
Mm.
LVT.
LV4.
Yep. So I've done CAD work for the tracks on these. They're all done. I've already finished designing tracks for it. I just haven't built the kit. So I'm excited to build a kit to actually put my work on.
Man, you need to do tracks for the Italieri one, man. I've got like 4 or 5 of those. The tracks are so bad. I want to build them.
Well, they're not good on the AFE Club kit either. And yeah, that came from a discussion at Nats where I was talking with I think it was Hobbs and Zach, and they were like, yeah, there's like no good LVT tracks on the market. And I was like, okay, I'll just go design some then.
Yeah.
I did. This is the one I think I'm most excited for, and that's the Wingnut Wings Halberstadt.
Yeah, buddy.
I've never built a plane kit, finished a plane kit, I should say, especially not a Wingnut Wings kit. So this will be my first. That's like my start, doing something extremely different builds of the year. And then the last one I've got has already been talked about, but the good old 116 BZ8. It was an impulse buy for sure because I love my Shermans. But after seeing especially Spud's work on his and all the other people who've been working on it in the 116th group, it's made me really want to build mine. So I don't know when I'll get to it, but that's in the pipe dream. That's all I got.
All you got, stack that's taller.
Yeah, I know.
Frame.
Added an hour onto the runtime.
You become a host now just by that segment alone.
Yeah.
You're more of a permanent member than most of us. No, that's great, Jackson. And some of my projects are aligned with yours. So I don't have mine next to me, but I'm gonna share a screen and show a couple box art. So obviously, Tamiya Sherman is going to be in the mix. I think with TJ and Jackson, it's a no-brainer, and it's an awesome kid, and love to support Andy as well. So that's one of them. Another one is following Jackson's lead. So I like to call these strategic projects because I know there's going to be slammers that's going to come up throughout the year because TACOM will release 7 things and I need to buy all 7 and I'll need to build 3 of them right away. So when I think of 2023, it's like leaving room for things I know that I don't know that's going to come out. So I have some capacity to build, but also just looking at some really cool builds. I was really inspired by Spencer Pollard's AEG, and I've loved the kit since then. And then, Sprue Brothers got their giant order. I'm like, well, it's now or never. So I guess it's now. And then
joining you on that build.
Outstanding. And then the last one is this. So it doesn't look like much, but I did box art for the Sherman Korean War version from Tamiya. So this is box art with the Jumbo. So I have the Panther. I actually have interior components for Tamiya's Panther from a TACOM kit I built. And then the Jumbo is actually built. And then the idea is to build this again in scale and have it called box art. Again, another box art, Tamiya's illustration and scale. I might add another couple figures to it, maybe a turned over Schwimmwagon somewhere, but the basic premise of the scene is from this. And it's based on a famous picture, which I really enjoy because it's got the open hatches up front where there's both the driver and the radio bow gunner dude. So I think it'll be a flavor of this, and I'll sculpt the bridge that's blown up behind it, and then also work on the hillside as well with the destroyed Panther. So that is a strategic project for 2023.
Nice.
And before we move on to maybe our last topic, because we're coming up on an hour and a half, a project for 2023 is this guy. So this is something that we've floated around a little bit online. We've talked about it. I'll be honest, the response has been way more than expected. The last I checked was this post, purely looking at interest, was at 88 comments. And I think that's pretty incredible. Nearly all of them have shown interest and would like to contribute. So I'd just like to take a moment to talk about this strategic project for 2023 for the Plastic Posse, and it's a year in review. So just bottom line up front is this is meant to highlight our friends that are part of this community. We're looking to have a profile on people that would like to submit their work. Unfortunately, the Posse doesn't pay that much, so therefore we can't pay contributors. But the idea would be you submit your profile picture, your location, some of your work either from 2022 or beforehand, because I know, some people it's difficult to finish stuff, and that's okay. We still want to feature your work. If you have great work in progress shots, feel free to send them over. But the idea is that each modeler that's part of the Plastic Posse will be highlighted with a page. You can highlight your work. And then we might also throw in some pages on techniques that some of us know and love. So maybe 3-tone camo from me, ambient inclusion from our friend Ivan, and then maybe some Sherman work from TJ. No, not Sherman work, but figure work, that is. But then also I think it's important for us to highlight the shows that we've been to, the people we've met, and then potentially some of the museums we visited too. So this is just, throwing out there for general interest. We've gotten a lot of it, so I think we're going to push on it and look for more information coming soon on it.
Yeah, thanks, John. That's something to look forward to. And then we also, as we've been promising, are going to be doing some other great things for 2023. And one of the things that we're committed to is to bring in you more video content. And our good friends Ivan and Jackson that are here on there are going to be kind of heading up our new video division. And we're looking forward to seeing what you two and some other people are going to come up with.
Yes.
Very excited about that. That's my biggest project for 2023.
Yep. That'll be cool. That'll be great to see you guys do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're looking forward to bring some visual content to you guys. A lot of cool kind of visual interviews where we might be talking to some special guests that coincide with the podcast and have them talk through work and stuff like that. So we've got a lot of ideas we've talked about, and we're still kind of planning everything out, but we're all very excited for that.
Cool. Big intel drop. This is great.
Massive.
Huge dump.
Huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Zach is involved as well. Just thought I'd mention him. He always cries when I don't mention his name every episode.
Yeah.
Well, and big shout out to all of you that are out there watching and have been supporting us. 2022 was a really exciting year. We got to a lot of shows. We got to meet a lot of you in person. We look forward to more of that in 2023. But the community involvement has just been fantastic. It's so much fun, and we enjoy it. Hopefully, you enjoy it as much as we do. But we just, nothing we do here would make any difference if you guys weren't participating with us. And so look forward to the yearbook and look forward to some video content, and keep contributing on the Posse group on Facebook. That's been successful beyond our wildest dreams. It's so much fun to be able to see what all of you are doing and see the progress that you're making on your build. So anyway, exciting stuff.
Yeah, and just a polite reminder, we do have a merch store. It is through Teespring. We can post a link on the Facebook page and also in the comments, probably of this as well, to highlight where you can go and get your favorite Posse merch. Slammer Build. Positivity Police.
Yes, there you go.
Guilty. So arrest me.
Yes.
Citizens arrest against the Positivity Police. But anyway,
And lounge trousers.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, they're selling out.
Yeah, Robbie wanted to know how those are going. Those are going well. We're
They're
selling
going well.
a lot of them. So
yeah.
Hey, I just want to throw out one thing real quick. Also, I'd like to say get well soon to our really good friend Lincoln Wright, who was in the hospital before Christmas. He is out now. Everybody, he is at home. He got home for Christmas. Him and his wife and his girl were able to spend Christmas together. He's healing. He's feeling a lot better. So you know, I thank everybody for sending in all the wishes to him, and just keep him in your heart. He's doing a lot better though. So you just keep him around, guys.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
get well, Link, for sure.
Going back to Derek's post, Scott, really quick, looking forward to meeting all of you in Texas. Funny fact, I ran into Derek at the Denver airport 2 weeks ago. I was coming from a work trip and I was standing outside the gate with one of my coworkers, and Derek came up and said hello. And it kind of all happened so fast, and it was super nice to meet Derek, even though it was literally for 30 seconds. But you made me feel like a rock star, because now my coworker has told all my coworkers that John's famous. Some guy walked up to him and recognized him in the airport. So
You are
I want to
famous.
thank you for that. I mean, I was wearing a suit too, so I felt really good. So Derek, thank you very much for that. You have increased my stock at the work water cooler, to say the least, for whatever that's worth. But no, it was
American
really great
Redwood.
it was really quick. But Derek, next time I see you, I got a little something special from the Plastic Posse to you. And certainly that goes for all of our supporters as well. You know, when you see us in public, we are more than happy to share the love and give you some things to remind us of the posse at home. So with that, any parting shots, Scott, or anyone else for 2022? Let's bring in 2023 with a bang.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to wish everyone out there in the posse a happy new year, 2023. Hopefully, these podcasts and these live shows help your mojo a little bit. That's what these are all about. Thanks for being the biggest group of modeling friends in the world. We love it. That's what the posse's all about. So happy new year, everybody.
Yeah, and final shot, thank you so much again. And if you have ideas, please let us know. We'd love to hear. We always love hearing from the community. And some of your ideas in the past have sparked topics on the podcast. So always looking to collaborate with everyone. We will certainly see more of you on the pod in 2023, looking to expose, more of you to, how the cookies are made and bring you on board and let you be a part of the fun. And certainly that's not only the podcast itself, but it shows and certainly sharing your work online. So please continue to do all those things. We love you so much. We will certainly see some of you very soon in February. Bill is one of them. But until then, thank you so much. Happy New Year, and build more models.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Farewell.
Good night.
Yeah.
I should do it the JV way, shouldn't I?